Hey guys, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Natalie. I've had several of you guys reach out, ask me about my PCOS journey and my weight loss journey in general. So I thought it would be easiest to just go ahead and make a movie and not a movie, but a video, and go ahead and describe my journey and where it's taken me and what has helped me. So first off, I'm going to go ahead and start by saying what PCOS is. So I'm going to go ahead and read off the Hopkins Medicine website. PCOS, often known as polycystic ovary syndrome, is a condition in which the ovaries produce an abnormal amount of androgens, which are male sex hormones that are usually present in women in small amounts, affecting 1 in 10 women. So some of the side effects that you'll experience with having PCOS could include irregular menstrual cycles, cysts on ovaries, excess body hair, hair loss or baldness, weight gain, acne or extra oily skin, infertility, dark patches on your skin, increased levels of depression and anxiety, and the flow of them just coming and going randomly, and increased testosterone levels. And again, with everything I share today, I am not an expert whatsoever. I am not a doctor. This is just stuff I've experienced myself, and just kind of stuff I've seen along the journey. Now we're getting into what I'm going to call the important extras. Everything that's basically from the beginning to the end, like what to expect. So starting off, it's very important to go to a gynecologist, get your annual screenings. This doesn't always come up on your annual screenings. It's something kind of you have to bring to attention. Some of them may be able to bring it out within your appointment, but for me it's something that it's hereditary, so I knew that I possibly could have it. So I went ahead and kind of brought that attention to my doctor as well. But being diagnosed, you can be diagnosed either with an ultrasound and could be done through blood work. So it's very important to go to your gynecologist and express concern and kind of talk about what you've been experiencing and the frustrations you've had. In my appointments, it's very, very important to disclose everything because they don't know what to help if you don't tell them what you need help with. Another thing that's very important to keep track of your cycles. So I use the period diary. You can download it on your phone. Super simple, super easy to use. It tracks everything. You can put notes in there. I highly recommend downloading that. And ways of overcoming it, medication is very important for PCOS, not only to regulate your menstrual cycle, which is important for our everyday health and help prevent cancer, but just to make you feel better and help with that weight loss. Because PCOS does mimic some diabetic symptoms and stuff you see, a lot of the medications that helps is diabetic medication such as metformin and stuff like that. Another important thing is birth control. I know it may sound like weird if that's not something you're using at the time, but it does help regulate that cycle, which again helps reduce the chance of cancer in the future because it is shedding that wall. Another thing that helps is having a consistent diet and sticking with that diet, not just any diet, but like a low carb diet. Make sure you're portion controlling. I know sometimes it's difficult, but honestly, like it is very difficult to start portion control, but once you've done it and like kind of worked your way through it, you kind of get the hang of it, and honestly your body adapts to it, so it's not as hard when you go. Low carb, portion control, and meal prepping. Meal prepping can help with your portion control. I know, especially for me as a first responder, like meal prepping is like a godsend because I don't have time to cook, nor do when I get home do I want to cook. So if I have that meal prep available, it allows you to have your meal there portioned out that you can use. And stick with just like simple recipes. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant. Another important part of this is exercise. And some of you may be like, oh, I don't like running and that kind of stuff. Exercise does not always consist of running. You could just do a simple walk around the block, repetitively walk your dogs, go out for a walk with your kids, ride a bike, or lift weights, simple core workouts. It doesn't even have to be for very long. Like do 20 to 30 minutes a day, or even like 5 days a week. Whatever works for you, just get out there and get moving, because that helps your body. It makes you feel better, helps your mental health, being outside and enjoying the air. Let's see. One thing about PCOS is that, yes, it is very difficult with weight control and the weight gain, and it can be depressing and just eat on you. With medications and stuff you're on, it usually takes roughly a year just to start seeing results. And you're like, oh my goodness, a year. But a lot can happen in a year. Like that dieting, you're exercising. But one thing that's very important is don't watch the scale. I'm guilty of it myself. I watch the scale. I go in and I'm like, oh, how much do I weigh today? You know, but you watch the scale, but don't watch the scale, because changing your body and losing weight isn't always, you're not always going to see it on the scale. You may see it in your waist, or being able to fit into that pair of jeans that you didn't fit into 2 months ago. So it's not about the numbers. Don't pay attention to the numbers. Pay attention to how are you feeling. If you change your diet, you might be feeling light now, and you might be feeling a lot better, and not just weighed down by all that heavy food. Secondly, take progress pictures. I know I love photos. I'm a photographer too, but take your progress pictures. You may not like how you look now. Believe me, that's how I was. I still have struggled with that sometimes. But take the picture, because in 6 months, in a year, in 2 years, you can compare the photos that you took when you started and be like, wow, like I've changed a lot. Look how much I've changed. Look how much I've helped myself get to the healthier me that I wanted to be. I know. It's difficult to take them now, but they're worth it in the end, I promise. And believe me, it's gonna be tough at first. I struggled. My depression struggled, because I'm like, what am I doing? Like, nothing is working. And it was frustrating, because like I wanted this weight off, but that weight didn't get there in a day, and it's not gonna come off in a day. So you have to be patient. Okay guys, now I'm going to go ahead and share what has worked for me, how I did it, and what I've kind of experienced in my journey. So back in 2018, I was diagnosed with PCOS. For me, it was such a blessing, because I finally got the answers to all these questions I've been asking and all my frustrations that I've been having, because I was an athlete. I barely ate any junk food. Like, I barely ate at all, and I was like, why am I not losing weight? And it was super frustrating, because it's just like, you want this weight off. But back then, 2018, the beginning of my journey, I weighed roughly 270 to 275, depending on the day and what I ate. But now I'm at like 200. I've almost lost 70 pounds. Like, depending on the day, you know, like just like whatever we eat. But anyways, 200, like I've almost lost 70 pounds, or I've lost over 70 pounds, depending on what day I get on the scale. But when I tell you that weight does not come off in a day, that's what I'm telling you. Weight does not come off in a day. That was in 2018 that I was diagnosed. It is now 2023. 23. It has taken me that long, that many years, that many months, that many countless hours and days and whatever to get where I am today. So like I said, the weight did not come on in a day. The weight is not going to come off in a day. But it was a huge accomplishment for me, because when I started my journey, I was in a 2XL, and now my shirt is in a large. And it's like, it's crazy, and it blows my mind that I can just go to the store, go to the section, pick up a large, and be like, this ain't gonna fit me. And then I try it on and it fits me. Like, never did I ever think that was gonna happen again. And it's amazing that it does. So when I tell you that it takes time and patience, it takes time and patience, but it's so worth it in the end. For me, I was put on metformin and birth control. Both of those helped, because for me, I was not having regular periods, maybe 2 a year, which, believe me, it was very nice, but at the same time, it's not healthy for you. But I've also been put on medication to help with hair growth, because one of the side effects is part of like the hair loss or hair growth, and for me, that affected me. So I wanted medication for that. Part of the biggest and most important keys throughout the entire journey is patience self-love, self-care, and be kind to yourself. Because if you're not being kind to yourself, how do you expect others to be kind to you? Because you need to love yourself. You need to embrace who you are. You may not like how you look right now or feel, but be kind to yourself. Because the kindness in you is the kindness that wants to get better. And if you're not kind, then you lack the motivation to get better. So kindness and patience and self-care and love. Believe me, it's tough, but it makes you feel so much better. Take time for yourself. Take time for yourself. Like, go out once a month, get a pedicure, or get your hair done, get your nails done, go out for dinner with the gals. You can still eat healthy going out. You don't have to get the ooey gooey, yummy looking desserts every time or the big portion meals. You can still eat healthy going out. And being diagnosed, if you're not satisfied or you haven't gone to multiple doctors and you haven't got the result you wanted, don't settle with one doctor. There's many doctors out there. It took me 2 before I got to the doctor that I felt comfortable with and that was helping me with my journey. So that's a key point that I wanted to hit, because don't settle. If you're not satisfied, go get a second opinion or have another doctor run a different test. For me, I did talk about one of the side effects is the onset and like oncoming of depression and anxiety, and just like it coming randomly. That's something I struggle with, still something I struggle with to this day, and something I'll probably always struggle with. But honestly, being in a cheerful mood and be able to listen to that music to snap you out of those will help you a lot. A lot. It's helped me. I just have these random dance parties in my house just to help cheer me up. I cannot speak today, but on to the diet part. For me, I like meal prepping because my job is crazy. I don't like to cook when I come home. So if I meal prep, the meal's already made. I just have to warm it up, which also helps with portion controls. And another thing that helps me, not everyone can do it. Again, everything I'm saying is not set for every single person. Everyone's very unique. Will find what works for them. But for me, a 1 meal a day diet works for me. I eat dinner. I make sure I have all the appropriate calories, vegetables, proteins in that meal, and that's what works for me. I also like to exercise. Now my exercises could either go from 30 minutes all the way to 2 hours. Just kind of depends on A, what I have time for, and B, what I'm feeling that day. But go out there, get that walk in, do some push-ups, I don't know, lift a chair up. Make it creative. It doesn't have to be, oh, I'm going to the gym. No, make it creative. Go outside, do yard work. You sweat a lot in yard work. One of the apps that I use is FitBody app. It's an app on your phone. You can pre-select what kind of, this is for like if you're wanting to lift weights or go to the gym. But you can pre-select stuff for like, oh, I want to do shoulders, I want to do legs, I want to do arms, kind of day. And it really helps, gives you the workout, and you start it, and you're done in like 30 minutes. Super easy. And again, when there goes stress, don't be obsessed with the scale. I know I said earlier I'm guilty of it myself too. I always want to go check what I'm weighing today. But don't be obsessed with the scale. Don't be obsessed with numbers and progress pictures. Cannot stress that enough. Take the photo. Take the photo. You don't even have to share it with anybody. Take the photo. I promise you. I promise you. It'll be worth it in the end. But the last thing I want to say before I kind of go through my closing, but is know that it's a learning process. Like I said, I started this in 2018 and it is now 2023. It's a process. Everything is ever changing. It's all about adaptation. Can't speak today either. And learning your body and learning what works for you. Because if it's not tangible or not even feasible for you, then you're not going to stick with it. Find something that you can be consistent with and do every single day. And keep that up for a month, and then keep that up for 6 months and a year. And here it is now, multiple years later, you're still being consistent and you're at the goal that you've wanted since day one of your journey. So I really hope that this video, kind of crazy video, because I have a squirrel brain sometime. I hope it is helpful to you. If you have any questions, please reach out. I would be happy to answer any of them. And go ahead and join my support group on Facebook. I will post different recipes on there, and you'll be able to connect with other soul sisters that are out there. Thanks, guys.